Good evening, you are watching ReNEWS in English. I'm Sona Tumanyan. Annual conference in Kapan, the heads of Armenia's diplomatic services have gathered on one platform with the participation of Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, President Vahagn Khachaturian, Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan, and other high-ranking officials. Deputy Foreign Minister Vahan Kostanyan addressed the developments, existing achievements, and ongoing work in the areas under his coordination, the Americas, Europe, neighboring countries, and the Middle East, focusing on the development of partnerships. During the discussion, agenda items concerning the development of partnerships with Iran and Georgia were also addressed. Mary Danielian covered the conference in a report.
The annual conference of the heads of Armenia's diplomatic services in foreign states has started in Kapan, attended by Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, President Vahagn Khachaturian, Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan, and other high-ranking officials. The Prime Minister addressed the balancing foreign policy adopted by the government of Armenia, stressing that its practical implementation took place on August 8th in Washington, with the establishment of peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
The main reason for all our disasters throughout history has been our inability to keep in step with the rhythm of history and international processes. What happened in Washington shows that the rhythm of our history has become harmonious with certain international processes, which is very important.
According to Pashinyan, one of our biggest problems is that the theories by which Armenia has lived were shaped by the elites and taught to society.
Now we are living in times when the opposite is happening. Theories are fermenting in the consciousness of the people, and it is important that we maintain the organic nature of this process.
President Vahagn Khachaturian stressed that the long-term, decisive, and patient policy of the Armenian government has ultimately led to the opening of a door to security, stability, and future opportunities for Armenia, the Armenian people, and our region.
I consider August 8 a great diplomatic achievement in the history of newly independent Armenia, one that changes the entire landscape of the region, transitioning from a logic of war and military conflict to a region of peace, economic development, and prosperity.
The work of the ambassadorial conference continued with a discussion with Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan. He also referred to the agreements reached at the White House and emphasized that the continuous implementation of the peace agenda in the region and ensuring a stable, secure, and prosperous environment for the citizens of Armenia is the primary goal of the government, including the diplomatic service. As a reminder, the Republic of Armenia has diplomatic missions in 47 countries and international organizations. Armenia has embassies in 37 countries, including the USA, Russia, France, Egypt, etc., and consulates in 10 countries. It also has permanent missions to international organizations such as the UN, the European Union, NATO, the OSCE, and UNESCO. The oldest of Armenia's diplomatic missions is the embassy in Washington, and one of the newer ones is the Armenian embassy opened in Uruguay in 2019. Mary Danielian, ReOpen Media.
The Prime Minister congratulated the President of Uruguay on Independence Day. Nikol Pashinyan noted that they highly value the friendly relations between the two states, which are based on mutual respect, trust, and common values. Pashinyan has invited the President of the Oriental Republic of Uruguay, Yamandu Orsi, to Armenia for an official visit. Over the weekend, footage appeared online clearly showing how a Russian fighter jet on Arshakuniats Avenue broke loose from a tow truck, colliding with the metal pole and a fence. Fortunately, there are no casualties. A report with clarifications on the incident follows.
A Russian MiG-29 crashed into a pole in the area near Erebuni Airport. The fighter jet, known for performing incredible maneuvers in the air, slid off a tow truck on Arshakuniats Avenue, hitting a metal pole and a fence. There are no casualties. The aircraft and the fence were also not seriously damaged. Sputnik Armenia reports that there was a technical problem during transport. The secured coupling broke off. The most varied theories are circulating about the MiG's nighttime stroll, ranging from technical to conspiratorial. We asked for the opinion of a military expert.
Such a practice exists where aviation assets, specifically fighter jets and, for example, helicopters, are transported by transport aircraft from one place to another in a partially disassembled state for various reasons. For example, because the flight range of fighter jets is quite limited.
3,000 kilometers is a long distance for a MiG-29. According to the expert, it cannot cover that distance in a single flight. Besides, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Turkey might not want to provide their airspace to Russian military aviation.
մի ուրիշ պատճառ կարա լինի, որ
Another reason could be that the fighter jet was in such a technical condition that it could not fly, and that is precisely why it was being transported to Russia to undergo some repairs.
To be repaired or to be decommissioned entirely, says the expert. In his assessment, the process was organized unprofessionally. The MiG also had no ammunition or fuel, therefore it could not explode. At most, it could have crashed into a car or a building. Later, a video was circulated of fighter jets on the road to Zvartnots.
մոտակա մի քանի տարվա մեջ կարող ենք տեսնել, որ
In the next few years, we might see all these fighter jets being decommissioned from the Russian army because they will no longer be in a condition to fly.
The specialist refers to Google's satellite map. One can see with the naked eye that 5 of the 18 MiG-29s located in Armenia are now serving as spare parts and are parked at Shirak Airport under the control of the 102nd Military Base in Gyumri. By the way, pro-Russian and anti-Russian forces met again in Gyumri. There were 3 separate demonstrations this weekend. One, led by Arman Babajanyan, demanded the removal of the Russian 102nd base from Armenia. The others, led by the Mother Armenia movement, spoke about Russian-Armenian friendship. The communists were also there with posters about age-old friendship and the Soviet flag. Simon Hovhannesson, ReOpen Media.
A few stories from the spinning planet. The head of the UN World Food Programme, Cindy McCain, has expressed disappointment and anger over the food crisis in the Gaza Strip, which is being exacerbated by Israel's ongoing military assault. McCain described the food situation in Gaza as catastrophic. According to her, people there are dying of starvation, and the delivery of aid has been hampered by Israel's continued military attack. Next up, Ukraine has celebrated the 34th anniversary of its independence. President Zelensky delivered an address from Maidan Square in Kyiv, emphasizing that Maidan is a symbol of Ukraine's resistance. The event was attended by the U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who announced 600 million euros in military aid. An Israeli strike on Nasser Hospital in Gaza has killed 15 people, 5 of whom were journalists. Among the dead are correspondents from Reuters, NBC, Al Jazeera, and AP. According to eyewitnesses, the second strike occurred after rescuers and journalists rushed to the scene of the attack. According to the Palestinian Journalists Syndicate, more than 240 Palestinian journalists have been killed by Israeli fire in Gaza since October 7, 2023. By the way, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in a post on the social network X, has thanked Armenian President Vahagan Khachaturian for his congratulations on Ukraine's Independence Day. Ukraine appreciates Armenia's position on our country's territorial integrity, as well as the humanitarian aid provided to our country, Zelensky wrote. He also extensively praised the leaders of Azerbaijan and Turkey, who also congratulated him on Ukraine's Independence Day. Addressing Aliyev, Zelensky stressed that they look forward to developing their strategic partnership for the prosperity of Ukraine and Azerbaijan. It has been confirmed that Sevdaliza will not perform in Armenia. The Coca-Cola Fest is ahead, and the singer's planned visit led to contradictory opinions, creating for and against camps. What will other world-famous artists think when we invite them to Armenia? On the other side, there are more weighty responses. And have you seen the artist dance inside a cross?
Sevdaliza, who is of Iranian-Azerbaijani origin, was the second international artist for Coca-Cola Fest. She was supposed to come to Armenia to perform on August 30th, but social media was divided into 2 camps, for and against. Complaints were voiced, and then a major protest campaign began against the singer. The reason was Sevdaliza's music video for the song Messiah, which according to many desecrates Christian symbols. The singer dances inside a cross and participates in the Last Supper. Sevda Alizari, or Sevdaliza, is a singer, songwriter, music producer, visual artist, and director. Her song Alibi is #1 on Amazon, and her other TikTok hit, Ride or Die, is #2. Before the cancellation was announced, it was stated that Sevdaliza would come but would not sing Messiah. However, the singer's participation was later cancelled altogether. I tried to get a clarification from the festival organizer, Coca-Cola Hellenic Bottling Company, but they said they would only provide a comment after the event. I also tried to get clarification from the Ministry of Education, Science, Culture, and Sport, but they replied that the ministry does not oversee such festivals as they are not involved with commercial events. Well-known influencer Haik M. Kurtian was among those eagerly awaiting Sevdaliza.
I wanted Sevdaliza to come so very much. I know her her for more than just a few songs. She is also a creative figure, very vibrant and provocative. And yes, in contemporary art, provocation is one of the best tools, but it's not unambiguous. For one person, it's oppressive and superficial. For another, it's deeper and multi-layered. There's no point even starting a discourse on this part. It's like faith, unprovable. For me, it has value. You can decide for yourselves.
Religious symbols have almost always been present in art. They are often used as a form of self-expression. Clips from music videos. Ani Hovanesian, ReOpen Media.
The monument to Artsakh hero Ashot Ghulian in center of Stepanakert was destroyed on the very day of his commemoration, reports the Artsakh Agency for Cultural and Tourism Development. The statement notes that the destruction of monument is not only vandalism but also a systematic policy of Azerbaijan aimed at erasing the memory of the heroes and the cultural identity of the people of Artsakh. Such actions grossly violate international conventions on the protection of cultural heritage and the rights of the people of Artsakh. Armenia is investing in its next generation of athletes, with top officials breaking ground on a state-of-the-art gymnastics school named after Soviet-era Olympic champion and national hero Albert Azaryan. Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and Yerevan Mayor Tigran Avinian attended the ceremony for the new facility, which is designed to become a modern hub for training up to 300 young gymnasts to international standards, according to the mayor's office. The government has allocated 6.9 billion Armenian drams, approximately 17.7 million USD, for the construction located next to the capital's landmark Razdan Stadium. The complex is planned to feature a dedicated gym for rhythmic gymnastics and acrobatics, a multi-purpose sports hall with seating for 532 spectators, along with modern administrative areas, locker rooms, and parking. With construction slated for completion in November 2026, the facility is already poised for the world stage. Officials announced the new school will host the 2027 European Gymnastics Championships, a major event that will showcase the country's new sporting infrastructure. First President Levon Ter-Petrosyan, in a Facebook post, recalled the renowned philosopher Immanuel Kant, quoting his assessment of Armenians. According to the former president, the characterization of the Armenian people by the thinker from the second half of the 18th century is something every educated Armenian should know. In the section on Armenians in his book Anthropology from the Pragmatic Point of View, the German philosopher wrote that among Armenians there exists a special gift for the spirit of commerce, which is a testament to the unique origin of this wise and industrious people, a people who demonstrate an ability to earn the gracious hospitality of all the peoples among whom they settle. This proves the excellence of their character, recalled the Republic's former president Levon Ter-Petrosyan, citing Kant's description. I'm Sona Tumanyan. This much for today. Stay informed with ReNews. Goodbye.